Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki. O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 18th adhyaya of Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and Sri Krishna is clarifying all the doubts of Arjuna as to what is the real tyaga, what is the real sannyasa, and having explained the difference between the so-called the hypocritical tyaga, hypocritical sannyasa, then Sri Krishna said the real sannyasa, real tyaga is not giving up the work. Giving up the work is not the tyaga. Running away from the work is not sannyasa, but performing the work. And giving up what? Giving up the attachment to the work and giving up the attachment to the fruits of action. That is the real tyaga. And then Sri Krishna said that having advised us, having taught us the difference between the real tyaga and the unreal tyaga. What is the real tyaga? Now Sri Krishna is telling us something more deep about the karma. That practically it is impossible for all of us once the Jivatman gets embodied in the body, it becomes impossible to avoid any work. It becomes impossible to do away with doing certain activities, Sri Krishna says. And then Sri Krishna explained to us that do you know how activities are done? And then he said there are 5 factors involved in getting any activity done for that matter. The 5 factors that we have seen, that the deha, then the adhisthana, the feeling of I am doing it, feeling of ownership of doing the work, the kartar, feeling of being a karta. That is the second cause. Then the third cause is karanam, prathakvidham karanam, that different senses that we have, the organs that we have, the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas, and then vividhascha prathak cheshta, that work, single assignment itself being comprised of various small elements of the smaller works. All those smaller works, they come together to form that big work that we are doing, that a person does. And then Sri Krishna said the 5th element, the daivam, that presiding deity who is there sitting in the heart of all of us. That presiding deity also is the cause, also is the factor of getting the work done. And then Sri Krishna told us that all these 5 factors together, they work through the body to get a work done using sharira, vak, man. The body, the word, speech, or the thought for that matter, and the mind. So that also Sri Krishna has taught to us. Now he said there are some fools. There are some people with a very high bloated ego. They don't understand the scriptural teachings for that matter. Rather, they use the scriptural teachings for their benefit. They twist the matter as it is, Sri Krishna says. They don't understand, they don't have any, they have kind of a half-baked knowledge, half intelligence, And with that half intelligence, they try to think, they try to project that, no, I am not involved in doing that work. Although I might have done so many atrocities, I might have done so many evil deeds, I might have done so many unjust undertakings. But I'm not responsible, because the scriptures has said it is the ultimate Purushottama, the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, who is the doer of all. Now Sri Krishna says this is basically absolutely a wrong notion for these people. Sri Krishna told us that Tatrai vasati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha. Being said so, this is how the work typically gets done. The man of perverse mind, pashyatyakrita buddhitvan nasa pashyati durmatihi. The durmati, the people with the perverse mind, they don't see the reality, they don't try to understand the reality behind the work being done. And even if they do anything wrong, they immediately put it, oh, that is the Atmanam, Paramatmanam. That fellow has to be blamed. I'm just doing whatever he tells me to do. I'm just a petty instrument in his hand. That is how then these people, they come to that understanding of being an instrument in the hands of the Lord. First of all, they will do all evil, they will do all the unjust things, they will do all the unworthy things to fulfill their desires of lust and greed. And then they will say, it is the Atmanam kevalam tu yaha, that only the Atma, only the Paramatma is responsible to do, having got all these actions done by me. Pashyati akruta buddhivan. Akruta buddhivan is of untrained intellect, of untrained in understanding. They have such a deluded makeup of the mind that they can't think anything straight. They can't understand the scriptural teachings properly in the right spirit. And that's what we saw in yesterday's example, that Duryodhana telling Krishna that, oh Krishna, it is you who is getting done everything through me. Now that is kind of a very foolish statement on the part of Duryodhana. The Lord never tells anybody you do wrong and fulfill your lust and desire. Lord never says that. But it is the person's intrinsic desire, desire for lust and greed, that makes him or her do the things, and then they start putting the blame on the Lord. Now why this happens? Because they have highly inflated egos, and therefore they have this foolish daring to blame everything on the Paramatman. So that is what Sri Krishna taught us in the 16th shloka, that being so, the man of perverse mind, who on account of his imperfect understanding looks upon the self, the Paramatman, the absolute, the Satchidananda as the agent, he does not see at all. He is so blinded by that egoism, by that delusion, that he doesn't see what is the real sense of Lord's teaching. He doesn't see that why Lord says you are not doing anything. It is the Jivatman which is doing anything. Why Lord says so? It is because Lord has given the Paramatman. Paramatman can't do anything. Paramatman doesn't have anything to do for that matter. Paramatman is always sitting in its own glory, in its own bliss, in its own calmness, in its own peace. Paramatman doesn't have to do anything. Paramatman doesn't get involved also in doing anything. So that is what Sri Krishna has told us. And now in the 17th shloka, Sri Krishna is giving us the reason why these people having said so, that it is the Paramatman which is doing everything. They are so wrong. Now Sri Krishna says, one who is not egoistic, who is not fitting into that category of the untrained intelligence, of the tarnished intelligence, of the polluted intelligence. what happens to those people who, even if they do anything wrong, nothing wrong they do. Now Sri Krishna is telling in this 17th shloka. Yasya nāhankṛitam bhāvo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatvā pisa imāṃ lokān hanti na nibadhyate. Now Sri Krishna tells that one who is devoid of any ego, yasya na ahankṛitaha bhāvah, one who is devoid of any ego, one who is absolutely humble, one who is the earnest devotee of the Lord, one who is an epitome of humility. Yasya na ahankṛitaha bhāvah buddhir yasya na lipyate, and also whose intelligence is not tainted, whose intelligence is not garbled like Duryodhana. He will do all the wrong and then he will tell, he has got the guts to tell Krishna, oh Krishna, you are getting everything done from me. That is the highest sense of egoistic inflation. And it is the best example of the tainted intelligence. But Sri Krishna says, those who have no trace of egotism in them and whose intelligence is no way tainted, it is no way polluted, it is all clear, they understand everything with perfect clarity. Yasya na ahankṛitaha bhāvah buddhihi yasya na lipyate hatvā sa imāñl lokān. Even if that person kills somebody, hatvā sa imāñl lokān, even if that person kills these people, now they are standing there at the battlefield of Kurukshetra to wage that mighty Mahabharata war. So many people are going to be killed. But Sri Krishna says, one who has no egoism, one who has got rid of his I-ness, and one whose intellect is not at all tainted, there is no delusion, there is no illusion. It's perfectly clear that I am doing this as a true and humble and a dedicated instrument of the Lord. That person, even if he kills all these, hatvā sa imāñl lokān na hanti na nibadhyate. That person, although he has killed, he is going to kill all these, he won't be killing anyone. And na nibadhyate, he is also not bound, that person is also not bound by the actions, by the fruits of the karma that he is going to do. He is not bound by that. That person is absolutely karma less. He cannot perform any karma for that matter because he sees, he understands it is the Lord's work. And with that intention, even if he kills a wicked person for that matter, even if he kills somebody, and that is what going to happen in the war of Mahabharata. Thousands and thousands of warriors are going to be killed. But those who do it as a duty of swadharma, those who are going to do to protect the masses from all the unrighteousness, those who are going to kill all those enemies as a duty towards the society, as a duty to cleanse the evil of this face of earth, as being instruments in the hands of the Lord. Even if they might be killing, no papa is going to cling to them. They are not going to be bound by that fruit of action. Na nibadhyate. And they in fact will not be killing anybody, because Krishna has told us in that Vishwarupa Darshan that he is already devouring each and every warrior who is going to be killed in the war of Mahabharata. So this is what happens. Sri Krishna says that it is better not to have any ego. It is better to have a very clear understanding of Lord's teaching. Don't twist them like Duryodhana. So Sri Krishna says that once the ego is destroyed, once the ego is beheaded by the sword of discrimination, there is no ego now. The ego has gone. I am just a servant in the hands of my master. I am just an instrument in the hands of that ultimate karta. Then you can say that is the ultimate karta. But till such time you have the ego, till such time the intelligence is tainted, one can never utter such words that karta is the Lord, I am just an instrument. The real instrumentality will only come into effect when you have no ego, when we have totally clear understanding, we have complete clarity, and the buddhi is not at all lipyate, it is our intelligence is not at all tainted. So this is Sri Krishna's teaching in the 17th shloka, having told that how these egotistic rats, how they put all the blame on the Paramatman, which is actually not true because they don't understand anything. In fact, if there is somebody who has wiped his ego, if there is somebody whose understanding is absolutely clear, that person, even if he kills all these, he is not going to kill anybody. And he is also not going to be bound by the fruits of his action of killing somebody, because that he truly does it as an instrument in the hands of the Lord. He who is free from the notion of egoism and whose understanding is not tainted, though he kills these people, he kills not, nor is he bound. Such a clear-cut teaching of Sri Krishna, and a clear-cut pathway that Sri Krishna is showing us to be egoless and to have untainted intelligence, to have that clarity without any delusion that I am so and so, I am so and so. It is the Lord who is getting the work done from me. Nothing of that sort. So with that, Sri Krishna is now telling us more about the inactivity of the Atman, for that matter, the Paramatman, and the activity of the lower self. Lower self gets involved in the activity, no doubt. But then there is a reason for that. So what further comes into effect in terms of getting any kind of work done, that again Sri Krishna is going to tell us that how the three gunas, they give impetus to the karma, how that sattva, rajas, tamas, they also influence the type of karma that we people do. That is for our next reading from tomorrow onwards. As of now, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.